Well everyone, believe it or not, we are less than 1 month away from WWDC, where Apple is set to unveil iOS 27. Last year we got the Liquid Glass update, the year before that was the whole Apple Intelligence fiasco, so I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that there's a little bit of pressure on Apple to really kind of improve on Apple Intelligence and give us what they promised almost 2 years ago, especially with Gemini Intelligence that was just announced and kind of creeping up behind us. So here are 7 things that we already know is coming to iOS 27, what to expect, and comment down below what your expectations are. Are they high? Are they low? What features do you want to see? Is it going to be a whole new revamp? Always curious to discuss in the comments, but without further ado, let's talk about iOS 27, everybody. So let's start off with Liquid Glass 2.0, because Apple released Liquid Glass last year and gave us a whole revamp of iOS. It was the biggest change to iOS since iOS 7, I believe, and for the most part, I really liked Liquid Glass and I still use the Liquid Glass icons, but in the beginning, there was a subset of people that loved it and another subset that absolutely hated the change because there was some readability issues, the transparency was too much in some areas, the layering was a little bit off, especially, again, people just don't really like change for the most part, but then they get used to it over a period of time. But Apple did improve it over this year with iOS 26 and really worked off of customer feedback and user feedback to really optimize it to the best of its ability. But I will say that Liquid Glass made the software feel expensive, which is something that could not have been said in years prior, and you can see that there's a lot of other software manufacturers and brands that are kind of copying the Liquid Glass look now. But again, iOS 26 was a big dramatic change, whereas iOS 27 sounds like it's going to be a little bit more polished and more practical with more customization and more default options overall. The goal with iOS 27 is going to be to streamline the Liquid Glass and just make it a little bit more simple for people to be able to read. And there's already been mention of some specific changes happening to the search tab because it's being merged back into tab bars. So native applications like the podcast app, music app, TV, health, news, it's all going to kind of be merged back into tab bars using Liquid Glass. So just some small design tweaks that Apple's going to simplify everything for us at the end of the day. But the biggest redesign might actually be happening in the camera app itself, because we recently got reports that there's going to be a lot of customization coming into iOS 27 and the camera app. And I think that's going to be the name of the game with iOS 27. All about refinement, but also customization to make your phone feel as personal as possible. So right now, the way that the camera app works is there's one default view for everything, right? Everybody controls the camera app the same exact way, the buttons are placed in the same exact spot. Yes, you can actually choose, and there's a lot of optionality in the camera app itself, but you're kind of stuck to how Apple wants you to view the camera app with all your different optionalities. But with iOS 27, reportedly, we'll be able to customize our own controls, customize where they are, how they function, hide some, add some. You can rearrange features, like I said, add and remove camera widgets as well for quick access, and I'm sure we'll be able to kind of map it to certain different physical buttons and also software buttons. And I think Apple's doing all this customization or allowing for this to happen in the native camera app because they see a lot of people leaving the native camera application for other camera apps in the App Store, like the Blackmagic. There's a bunch of other ones that also implement a lot of image generation as well as customization on the back end after the image has been taken. So Apple's gonna take all that and try to put it into their native camera application. I'll be curious to see how they try to tread that fine line between simplicity, but then also allowing pro-level users to customize exactly how they want to use their camera app for videography and photography, because I would argue that 95% of people just want an easy experience in the camera application, but there is that 5% that's usually the louder 5% of the 95 that really want all this extra customization. And then Apple will be also leaning into camera widgets as well to allow you to customize exactly what you want depending on what your situations are. So let's see exactly how this plays out for this customizable camera application, which I'm very excited for because I am a user of Blackmagic Camera and I use it because I can really hone in on specific kind of settings, whereas in the camera application, I'm kind of at the mercy of whatever Apple wants to do in the moment. And then another big upgrade is going to be in the functionality of the camera app. So right now, if you want to pull up something like Visual Intelligence, it's actually done through the camera control button. Yes, you can access it in other ways, but that's the main form of interaction, as well as in the action button for something like the 17E. But they're going to be implementing Apple Visual Intelligence inside of the native camera application. This could be a foreshadow into Apple removing the camera control button completely, but let's see exactly what they end up doing with that button. But Visual Intelligence will live inside of it, and for good reason, because of course you'll be able to take an image, or at least view whatever you want to view, and then ask Siri whatever you want to ask. But then also, they're adding features like being able to scan nutrition labels, scan business cards, and also give you some real-world AI utility inside of the camera application itself. So this is going to be a welcome addition. So unfortunately, apps like MyFitnessPal or Macronutrients, all these applications that help you scan barcodes to then take in information for caloric intake and things like that, they could be cannibalized or Sherlocked by Apple, but let's see exactly how that pans out. So now let's talk about the big change, which is going to be all about Siri. Of course, we got news a couple months ago that they're going to be using Gemini as a foundation for Siri. They're working with Google, they're partnering with Google. Again, it's still going to be Siri, it's still going to be Apple Intelligence, but the coding foundation that it's built on has been completely changed, and we'll be using Gemini moving forward. And let's see how that pans out. But it's going to be a lot more familiar to what we currently understand as an AI assistant, but then also built in to Siri and built into your phone. So we will be getting a standalone Siri application to interact with that will ideally keep history of your conversations, be able to learn from what you like, be able the same way that you would interact with ChatGPT or regular Gemini. I've been talking to ChatGPT for the last 2 or 3 years, and ChatGPT knows me pretty well in terms of how I want things to be sent to me whenever I am using it, so the same thing will apply over to this new Siri chatbot, and let's see exactly how that works. But Siri should have much better conversational abilities, because right now I actually have the ChatGPT voice assistant mapped to my action button, because Siri is just, it's not great. But again, there is a break in that, because I can't actually have the ChatGPT option take action for me, like turn on my lights or turn on the dishwasher and things like that. So merging those two functionalities is going to be absolutely ideal. And then we should be getting all that was promised with the iOS 18 version of Apple Intelligence, which is going to be contextual awareness, an LLM-powered Siri, on-screen awareness, and then also multi-step actions and app intent. So being able to say multiple actions at once in one line, and then Siri being able to go into your iPhone and taking all action based on whatever you want, with just like maybe one final check before a large transaction or some sort of large decision happens. And now I do think that Apple needs to get this right. I mean, I'm all for letting the other companies kind of build AI chatbots and making that the expertise, but especially for on-screen awareness and contextual awareness and learning and doing things on your behalf, I do think Apple needs to get this right, especially with all the superpowers that Gemini Intelligence has been talking about over the last 24 and 48 hours. Let's see how that pans out. I'm very excited, and I have an optimistic outlook on seeing what Apple's going to do with their new Siri. And then in that same light, with visual intelligence and the camera reconstruction and all the customizations, the Photos application is getting a huge revamp in terms of capabilities and feature sets. Apple's been adding a little Apple Intelligence-like features in the Photos application more and more, like the ability to erase things with their tool, the ability to create these like parallax images where they bring the foreground and the background to make it look almost 3D, which is all very cool. But now we're going to be getting some more serious editing tools inside of the Photos application, like being able to expand photos beyond the original frame, things that can already be done with Photoshop and some other kind of manufacturers in the Android space. It's also going to improve color and lighting and overall image quality, especially for spatial photos. The reframing is going to be fantastic for spatial photos, and it'll allow you to shift the perspective after the fact when you do capture it. So if you take a picture head on, maybe you can edit it where you at a 30-degree angle and then have that be the image. The fifth thing we're going to see is that Apple's health section is going to be absolutely amazing. I've been toying and playing around with a bunch of different AI health apps. I've been using different pieces of hardware, different pieces of software. Definitely check out my Apple Watch versus Whoop video. A lot of people enjoyed that one because it did have a lot to do with the AI application inside of Whoop as well as inside of Bevel and things like that. So Apple is set to be bringing all that smarts in Apple Intelligence into their health application to give you kind of like an AI-powered wellness coach. So again, this could Sherlock a lot of companies. Maybe companies get acquired through Apple, but it makes sense. Apple is taking in all this data from your Apple Watch, whereas right now, they don't really tell you what to do with that data. It's all in read-only mode. You have to interpret it yourself for the most part, and you have to take action yourself in order to improve your statistics and things like that, versus there's countless applications out there that'll do all that for you. It takes a proactive approach to your wellness by telling you what to do based on the data that's acquired from a health standpoint. So combine all your health monitoring with all this nutrition stuff that's coming into the camera application. Educational videos will be added from health experts, and you're just going to have deeper health integrations overall. I'm excited to see what Apple does with this new Siri Health. That's going to be the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, because having a health coach is built into Siri where I don't have to leave the iPhone or leave an application is going to be a good one. And then in terms of some other specific changes that are coming to some of Apple's native applications, we've spoken about Safari. They're going to be getting a little bit more intelligent overall. So they're going to have a new start page, a new kind of Apple Intelligence-ified group tab. So it's going to kind of do a lot of things for you just to make it easier to access what you need to access. And then another improvement that's coming is going to be to the Apple Wallet, which is something that we've already spoken about, but they're going to be allowing you to create a pass off of any physical card or barcode or QR code. So there's still a lot of brands out there that still don't allow for Apple Wallet integrations that do have some sort of loyalty program. So being able to take a barcode of some sort of brand that has a loyalty program, scanning it with your Apple Wallet, and then putting it into your Apple Wallet so you no longer need the physical pass is going to be something that a lot of people are going to enjoy. For example, Costco is one that I can see using. LA Fitness, which is the gym here, that's another one that I could see using. Costco and LA Fitness have their own application, so you still could digitally check in, but now you're able to just create a pass and do it natively from your Apple Wallet app. And then the keyboard is set to get a drastic improvement. There's been a lot of people hating on the keyboard lately that the autocorrect and autofill has been completely off, but Apple's going to be improving that with iOS 27 with smarter autocorrect, alternative word suggestions, and possibly a Grammarly style AI assistant that overlays on top of whatever you're doing. Because right now, the writing tools that Apple has just aren't great, they aren't super accessible, there's a lot of friction to use it versus Grammarly just kind of lives on top of your computer. And being able to have that directly from Apple Intelligence is going to get a thumbs up from me. And then lastly, Image Playgrounds is supposed to get a huge revamp in terms of the usability and the amount of output that it can give you. We're supposed to be able to get a more lifelike image generation model built into here because right now we just have certain styles. Apple's going to be including a more lifelike one as well, and you're able to describe the change that you want in this future iteration, and then Image Playgrounds will spit something out for you. So I don't use Image Playgrounds whatsoever. I use it in the beginning when it first came out to kind of play around with it, see what the use cases were, see how good or bad it was, and I just don't really use it in my day-to-day life, so maybe adding a little bit more functionality, but I'm not creating a lot of images with AI to begin with. I don't know, it's not part of my tool set or my needs to create, but it is nice that Apple will be adding this natively, so I think that's going to be the name of the game. Adding all of these Apple Intelligence features, making it a competitor to all the other ones like OpenAI that's out there and Perplexity, but making it native to your iPhone so it understands everything about you to make your life easier. And that's where I think the golden age of Apple Intelligence is going to come with iOS 27. Here's to hoping that a lot of it is going to be available at launch here in the US and they don't push it to a 27.1 or 0.2 or 0.3. So let's see what Apple really has cooking for us with iOS 27. Like I said, we're less than 1 month away at WWDC. Get subscribed because we're going to be covering everything in depth. Comment down below what you guys think. Are you excited for 27? Are you kind of in wait and see? You know, you're setting your expectations low so you're not disappointed. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm cautiously optimistic with what Apple has with iOS 27. But that'll do it for this video. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin. Let me know if you guys want to see a version of this for iPadOS, because I'm sure iPadOS will get some nice changes as well. But if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, check out one of these right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everybody. If you made it to the end, comment down below who you think is going to introduce the keynote at WWDC. Will it be still Tim Cook or will it be John Turnus? Comment down below. Peace.